All right, there we go. Should be live now.
We are live now. Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You?
Pretty good. I'm excited to hear what this is all about today.
I'm assuming you have some thoughts already that are percolating for you.
I do. I do. It's interesting because this topic is a bit of a follow on from our last time we caught
Yeah,
up.
I'm sensing a theme. So like we had like the renovation theme for a while with you. This is my theme. Anyways, but I'm gonna start off by telling a little story. So my first real job, it was at Arby's. It's a fast food restaurant in uh, the Americas, right? Anyways, I was a very good employee, but I always followed the rules. However, uh, there was one night I was working in the kitchen part, and when the food is on the line too long, you have to throw it out. Like it's like only good for X number of hours. Like, so, and what I'm talking about specifically is like chicken breasts, like fried chicken breasts. Anyways, so it wasn't uncommon for people to like eat like the thing instead of throwing it out, they would just like eat it, right? That became
It's
it.
come to its use by time. We
Yeah,
just
it's not
eat
it's
it
no
rather
longer
than putting it
publicly
in the bin.
consumable, but it's fine for you and me, right? Anyways, it wasn't acceptable anymore, and I never did anything wrong, but for whatever reason that night I decided, yeah, I'm gonna eat one. Anyways, I took like one big bite and then somebody told me like the manager's coming and I basically put the whole chicken breast in my mouth and I don't know how, but I'm pretty sure I swallowed it essentially whole, a fried chicken breast. Okay. It hurt so bad going down because it's not consumed. I didn't chew it, right? At all. And I think the manager knew I had screwed up, but because I'm a good employee, kind of like whatever, let it pass and went on his way. Anyways, I think I was like tearing up because of the how scratchy it made my throat. Anyways, so the reason I thought of this is because when I thought of my topic, I thought of this. Like I bit off more than I could chew. And in this case, I swallowed it without even chewing it. I should not have done that. There's a reason why you chew stuff. There's a reason why you take smaller bites. There's a reason why you chew it up before swallowing it. You don't just take it all down. Anyways, all that to say, I believe I have bitten off more than I can chew.
Okay, which is this whole theme, isn't it, around taking
That's the
on and
topic.
more
That's
and
the
more.
theme. And I feel like this has been my theme for a while, but this is the first time I think I've thought of it in this way. Because I'm doing a lot. I'm running from thing to thing, from task to task, to job, to event, whatever the case may be. And I don't know if I'm doing a particularly good job at any of them because I can't finish anything. I feel like there's so few minutes in my day. Like the other day, I went to set up my kids' bank accounts. Then I had to go for two separate appointments. But because I don't have enough time to rub between two fingers, I get the process started. Like we had our appointment, I got the cards were sent to us, but now I've got to set up the online aspect of it. But I've only had time to like set up parts of it because I get interrupted. I've got to go do dishes or do laundry, make dinner, go coach this, go coach that, take on these two new clients, maybe not plan in enough space for working out. So I'm just kind of just spinning. um, and when you asked me this week, okay, what's the topic? And I was like, I don't know. I don't because I don't have enough. I really don't have time to think about this stuff. And I was like, I've bitten off too much. I've bitten off too much. I can't handle it all. So I started thinking about how do I want to deal with this? Like, how do I want to look at what's going on? And I've got a few different ideas. Part of it is tied to that a conversation we had a few months ago around like artificial deadlines, right? Like
Uh,
I've put on some weird, okay, well the bathroom's got to be done by the end of June or whatever. Where'd that deadline come
Because who
from?
said that?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's it's my own internal. expectation of myself. Because I guess I'm used to when I do a project, I kind of like dive headlong and I go from beginning to end fairly quickly and I'm able to do a pretty good job. However, um, I don't think I've had as many things in my life happening simultaneously. Like I've built both of our decks. Okay, maybe there's three decks here, but I didn't have a time frame. You got up. I didn't have much work going on, so I could spend hours at a time digging holes and pouring concrete and nailing and screwing wood together and whatever. So like it didn't matter how much I got done in a day. You just did what you could and you went home. But now I don't seem to have those big blocks of time because of the basically three, four jobs that I'm doing all at once, plus family, plus I can't even bring the words out because there's too much in my mouth. There's too much chicken in there. So the artificial deadlines was one of them. The other one is maybe I'm not asking for enough help. Maybe I need to delegate some stuff off. Like my kids are freaking old enough, they can do some stuff now, right?
They're old enough. Yes, I've met both of them. They are well old enough.
I know they're old enough. I've seen like two, 3 year olds cutting their own food and making their own lunch and washing their own dishes. Like I've seen that stuff on TikTok. Like it exists. I know it's out there. My kids might die if I don't prepare them their breakfast.
Oh my goodness.
You
They
know,
could, yeah, they'll starve.
I'm dying. I'm starving. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
I know it's ridiculous.
Self-created.
I know
Yes.
it's
Okay.
ridiculous. And the tiniest example that I have from the other night, like I'm scrambling to get out the door to go coach CrossFit, and I could have asked my wife to set up the recorder to tape the hockey game later, but no, I had to go do that.
Oh, so
Like
taking on more as
I'm doing
well.
all of the things, even though there's definitely things that I could say, hey, can you help me out? Right? So I need to kind of assess all of the things that I'm doing, and maybe I've got to say no to some stuff, or maybe I've got to either just maybe even relax a little bit on you can only do what you can do in any given amount of time, and that's good
Which
enough.
is interesting because that's what you said about the when you had all the time in the world to do the decks previously. It didn't matter what you got done. Whatever you got done was what you got done.
Yeah, because there was no money coming in and no jobs to do.
But that could apply now anyway.
But
Well,
now I
whatever.
have the jobs that pay
And
the
now you can
bills.
just get done what you can get done. And if that's 10 minutes worth of time application, then
I,
that's yes.
I do struggle with that though. Just like having 10 minutes. Okay, is that enough time for me to go and take care of setting up the kids' bank accounts or whatever online?
Yeah.
Because it never
And
seems
when
to
we
be enough
feel
enough time to. And
yeah,
when I
and
do
that
have 4 minutes to rub together, I'm like, what do I do with those 4 minutes? I should be doing something.
yeah. Yeah, oh, isn't that interesting? I should be doing something. So there always has to be activity. That's yes.
I am
Okay.
so wound up and messed up
Oh.
right now
Well, I've got good news. It's probably only temporary because I think we all go through these
because it's
phases.
going to end soon.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the fact that you've highlighted it as I don't think this is a good way to function will automatically change the way you're functioning
Mm,
because you've gone, I don't know that this is working for me. So your system's already going to find another way. You already are by asking the question and revealing it. I think we forget sometimes that that is really super powerful. It's claiming it.
mm.
So interesting this biting off more than you can chew.
Do you have a chicken story?
I don't have a chicken story. No. But I was thinking when you were telling that story, one of the uh, regular comments when I am rushed in time, and when I'm rushed getting everything put in, I often will push back when I eat, and then when I do eat, I am so hungry. My
Mm.
husband will commonly say, "Oh, you just inhaled that, didn't you?" And it's like, yeah, not a lot of conscious eating going on there. Simply, I need the food, I'm on to the next thing.
Fill in
And
the
so I
gap.
don't, yeah, so I don't tend to swallow a whole breast of chicken. However, it is that feeling of just inhaling that to get on to the next event. When you mentioned this topic, I was like, I feel like the last few months I have been doing that. And every day it feels like I have a lot. And yet I've changed the approach so that I am taking smaller bites. And I'm giving myself permission to not really worry if I don't get to that other thing. Because somebody else will eventually get to it, or it'll rise up through the priority list and it'll eventually get done. And a few weeks back, somebody said to me, interesting that you say yes to all these things, Chris, because I often say yes. And I've set myself up as a reputation of, oh, ask Chris, she'll get it done. So everyone knows that if you ask me, I will get it done. And someone highlighted to me, why is it that you do this, Chris? Well, I don't know, just get it done. I just like to get things done. They went, why are you rescuing everybody? And it was, it had, to be honest, it had to sit with me for a few weeks before I went, oh, there's something about the rescuing. No one's ever pulled me up on that before. But I like to come to the rescue of everyone else. So as I was preparing to go away for a week to Singapore, which was a fantastic experience, I realized that there was going to be some things that I couldn't do. I couldn't be as active for and responsive for uh, things that were happening with the board that I'm on, or for the program that I'm running on behalf of PSA, or these other things that aren't work related, but they are, I have put my hand up and said, I'm happy to be responsible for these things. But for a week and a half, I couldn't do as much. So in preparation, I built in that I wasn't going to come to the rescue. So it was a really interesting, it was the first time I've played with it. So I haven't got it right completely because it is literally the first time I've applied. Are you rescuing? Do you need to rescue this circumstance? And occasionally I did rescue. So there were two things when I was at not only just in Singapore, because I was there for 6 days and the convention was technically only 2 days. So you would have thought I'd done the rescuing when I was just on the either side of the convention. No, no. I did some rescuing while I was at convention in the middle of those 2 days. There was a request made, and I ensured that the answer was given and the right people were spoken to. And I did all of that rescuing so that everyone else felt okay about it, regardless of the impact that had on me. So I haven't quite got this as a complete formula, but it was a really interesting question to keep asking what who am I rescuing and why am I doing that?
Yeah, so this is interesting. So a couple things came up for me as you were talking. So when it's when like you're in the thick of it that you did your hero work, right? Like stepping in. And I think there's an unconscious habit that happens, like it's like our what is it, modus operandi? Like it's kind of our natural way of being for whatever reason, whatever that is, and however we learned that doesn't matter. But it's when we're unconscious that that kind of kicks in. So when I first started getting into this kind of work, this is like at my very beginning of my like personal growth journey, let's say. Somebody introduced me to the hero, victim, villain triangle. So
Oh,
there's these three roles that we play, and we can all play all of them, and there's no right or wrong. They're just it's like you're playing the role. So either you're playing the hero, you're playing the victim. I'm sure you've heard that person before, or you're playing the villain. You're like, screw that guy. You can, take care of yourself, whatever. Like there are these three different roles, and we tend to have a dominant one. that we kind of play, right? The hero one resonates with me a lot of trying to like help and save and take care of and make sure
which is
everyone's
the
good.
rescue, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, thumbs up for me. Good job, Ian. No, it's not meant to be a good thing. There's detractions to all of that. But when you can pull yourself out of the game and see the roles that are being played, you now can make different choices about how you want to approach the situations. But when you're unconscious, you're just playing the game because that's the game you've always played.
Yeah.
So
And
what
so I
you
could
were saying,
hear I could hear the rescue in that's happening when you're making your kids breakfast for them.
yeah,
Look
I
at
try
you
not
coming in
to.
and being the superhero.
Yeah, it's a really small cape, let's say, but yeah, sure, I get it. But yeah, your point your point's well taken. It's trust me, I'm the one who's always trying to get out of making stuff. I'm probably the villain in that scenario because I'm like, make it yourself. You're a big kid. You can do it on your own. And my kids are the victims, right? And they're like, oh, I can't. It's hard.
It's too
I
hard
don't spread
and
it like you spread it, whatever. And then my wife, Julie, will rush in and say, fine, I'll take care of it. Like so we play the same games, right? I don't know if my kids are particularly aware of how they play their role. However, that's on us to help teach them to
well,
just
that's right.
notice how
They're
they're showing
kids.
up.
Their brains are still developing, their emotional intelligence is still developing, and it is it's our responsibility, and I say adults' responsibility, not always parents. I think that there's some just adulting that happens
Mhm.
that is an adult's responsibility to guide that right into a
Yeah.
better way. But yes,
So I just for people who are listening, if you can, I'm sure you can hear yourself in this scenario, either with a conversation with your husband or wife or your kids. Like we're doing this at work, we're doing this at home, we're doing this all the time.
we're doing this at conventions when somebody has a problem and you have to run to the rescue.
Right. So I may be heroing many things in my life at the moment, and maybe quietly being a bit of a victim of myself as well at the same time, right?
Well, that has to come with it, right? Because there has to be a counterbalance. And so when we've fallen into, oh, we've taken on too much, that's immediately falling into the victim.
Yeah, I mean today it's funny because every 2 weeks when we have this discussion, what are we going to do? And then either you have a topic or I have a topic, then I got to think about it. So I have to pull myself out of where I'm at and what's going on, and it
Yeah, you have
gives
to
me a bit of that awareness. I get that zoom out of my scenario and situation. And today I had a workout scheduled at the gym, and I do like one a week where I go to the gym and I work out with everybody else. And I was going to cancel it. I didn't.
okay.
I'm like, "Ah, it's not a workout that I particularly want to do. I know I won't do it here. I'll do something, but anyways, I ended up keeping it because of this conversation, because I knew I needed a break from the hecticness of things and just to
Okay.
go be and do something that wasn't all of the things. It's still on my
And was
list of things
something
to
for
do,
you.
but
It
yeah,
is
it
another
was.
thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
it's a piece for me that breaks me from the other things, right?
yeah.
So yeah, that's my own little hero today.
Yeah, yeah. And this is the thing, we can bring in this. So even when in the middle of the convention, I felt myself going into rescuing, what I noticed is when I got back home, um, and it took me about 24 hours to become normal again. That was just due to tiredness, and my focus was a little bit wobbly. Um, so what I did is that, it was last Friday and Saturday that the convention was. Now I have a bit of a rule. This comes back to these expectations I place on myself that I need to follow up with people within 24 to 48 hours so that they remember who I am and I've done the follow up and that's all
So
very
they
good.
remember who you are. You know, the only woman with blue hair that you really got you thinking about life. Yeah, yeah. They had trouble remembering you.
Yeah, I'm not very memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. So Thanks for pointing out the obvious. So I didn't do that follow-up until yesterday, which was Thursday my time,
And did the world
and
collapse?
the
People
world
forget
did
who
not
you were.
collapse. Most people responded. In fact, every single person that I actually bar one, but I know that they will follow through. They just haven't yet. I sent a Zoom link to just do a bit of a chat, not a debrief about convention, but just to continue that, whatever that
Mhm.
conversation was that I had with them. Every single one of them, bar one yet, has booked that in already. So here I was, if I'd done my normal hero behavior,
Mhm.
which would be within the first 48 hours, that would have been, would have been very groggy still. I would have
Mhm.
been doing tired brain, but I pushed it out another couple of days until I had an hour or two where I could just focus. And I noticed what I was doing was I really went back into where I was at with that person and that conversation when I sent them the message. So it would have felt more personalized to them when I sent it. And they came back immediately. So my communication was better. My presence was better. I wasn't trying to be the hero. I simply was doing it with, this is an invitation. Would you like it? But I did it with a much greater capacity of being genuine
Mhm.
because I wasn't doing it because I had to do it or because I was expected to do it or that was the thing to do or I should do. I did it because I genuinely wanted to. And so I was like, oh, that was that was a win. That worked when I don't rescue all the time. And it feels like I still have a lot on my plate, similar to you, because we have both been sharing this theme over the last little bit. But I'm finding more and more ways to chunk it down and to not, and what goes with that is not beating myself up if I don't get that thing done. So I know we said I've not spoken about renovations for a while. They're coming back in. We are starting on renovations, but and I was supposed to start them this weekend. Supposed to. You hear that? Oh, I'm such a classic. Anyway, we're supposed to start them this weekend. However, that's not going to work out because of all sorts of reasons. I ended up working, I'm going to be working more on Saturday, and then on Sunday, it's Mother's Day. So my daughter wants to take us out, and that's going to be lovely. And I want to leave some freedom for whatever she's got planned there. But I went, you know what? I can still start renovations because I had it scheduled for all day Sunday. It's not going to happen all day Sunday. But what is it I can do?
Mhm.
Well, what I can do is I can go into the garage and pull out all of the appropriate paint tins, all of the painting utensils, all of the buckets, all the stuff, set it up on a table outside so that when we are ready, we can start
Yeah.
without having to do all that organization. And if that's all I achieve on Sunday, then I've started back in the renovation. It's a small, tiny piece of it. Is it actually putting paint on the wall? No, but it's still a step towards it. So this is the and so I'm like, now I'm adding renovations back onto the list with everything else I'm doing. So it's another thing to the list, but I'm chunking it down. I am biting it in smaller pieces and I'm being really conscious of what I'm consuming.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I personally still find it a challenge to stay in that very proactive space. Because like you said, when you get busy and when you get on, the unconscious behavior will kick back in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm that's been my approach. It seems to be working 80% of the time.
The other
which
20
is
are
a
swallowing
win.
whole chickens. Yeah, I understand. I get it. It's normal behavior, right?
And I think everyone, I mean, I do wonder about on a bigger picture, why is it that we constantly seem to take on more and more? We don't give ourselves permission to stop. We don't give that opportunity to say no, to just, I did it to myself just last night. So I finished work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Hubby is currently away. I have the whole house to myself. It's a Thursday night. I have the opportunity to go to the shopping centre and get my nails done because that's important. I like to have my nails done at the salon. Great. But I got to 5 o'clock and I went, I know this would be a perfect window of opportunity to get that done. Actually, no. I'm just going to sit in this house on my own. And I kind of said no to adding something else into my day. I'll eventually get so annoyed with my nails that I'll have to get them done somewhere and I will find an hour to get that done. But I didn't have to just because I had a few hours up my sleeve yesterday evening. I didn't have to go and do it then and there. And I think we forget that we don't always have to do everything immediately. It's still a lesson I'm learning.
It might be a lifelong one. I don't know because this isn't new. Not,
No. And why is it that we continue to add more? What are we filling?
well, I think I think that triangle that I was talking about is pretty strong and kind of sits in our unconscious anyways from our what we've learned through life and through others that you do what you can and you help where you can and you put other people before yourself. Like that's just it's just how it's almost like a motto, right? That we live by, unconscious mottos. And at some point they don't serve you anymore.
Yeah.
It's recognizing that it's not serving you so you can step away. I mean, I even added a process for a client uh, this week just because I thought it was like it's me wanting to be of service and trusting that that was the thing I need to give them, but adding it to my plate now is not helping me personally. I did it, of course. Um, but it's because I'm trying to provide the best service that I can. Is that me still trying to be the hero? Probably a little bit. Um, but if I'm going to do that, I think I have to take a step back and say, okay, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to negotiate with myself. What am I going to let go of? Because I can't just keep giving, 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 because I'm not going to be able to replenish the time and the space that I need for me or to do the other things.
Yeah, it's the receiving
Yeah.
that we need to consider. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yes, it and if we constantly swallow that whole chicken breast,
Such a
it
ridiculous.
starts to get painful.
I can still feel it.
And then we don't function as well. So we need to make sure that we can function as, uh, as best we can. So keep taking smaller bites. I think that's our best approach, chunking it down, even if we go, oh, it's okay, it's just this other thing. Just see where you can, is that really necessary right now?
Yeah, so chunking down is great advice. Also renegotiating with yourself what if I'm going to take something, what can I let go of? And then that whole idea of why does it have to be now? Like your those self-imposed timelines.
Yeah,
They're fictitious for the most
they
part.
are fictitious.
Yeah, made up timelines.
Yes.
Hopefully that's helpful. to others.
Hopefully. It was helpful
Just
for
me.
me. Thanks, Ian.
You're very welcome.